Hello, good morning or good afternoon. This is Assistant Secretary Robert Ferrer, Assistant Secretary for Migration of the Department of Foreign Affairs. I'm here to represent my office, Office of Migration Affairs, and also my boss, Undersecretary Eduardo A. De Vega, Undersecretary for Migration Affairs of the Department of Foreign Affairs. And gusto namin kayong batiin for this sixth National Conference on Migration Health or NCMH. And I would like to talk about the GCM implementation in the Philippines. As we all know, the GCM is a groundbreaking international agreement to make sure that migrants are able to transfer from one location to another safely, orderly, and also now taking into account the health needs of migrants. And as we all know, because of the US elections and the ongoing political developments in Europe, the health of migrants takes a very huge and significant profile in the minds of decision makers and stakeholders worldwide, be it at national level, provincial level, and regional level. And the bottom line is we help save lives, we protect lives, we make sure that the quality of life of migrants is not sacrificed if they seek greener pastures. And if they do that, that they would follow the laws, customs, and traditions of the country that they are adopting themselves into, because this is a basic right. Migrants have a right to safe and orderly migration, and the original inhabitants of a given country also have a right to live their lives as they see fit, especially in a democracy. So health is a main concern for the Philippines, being a GCM champion country, and the health of migrants is of paramount importance to the administration of President Bongbong Marcos. As you know, the Philippines has been a sanctuary country not only to migrants over the centuries, over the eons, because the Philippines was populated in waves of migrants, starting from the Aitas, who are genetically relatives of the Aborigines of Australia and elsewhere in the South Pacific. So we are all relatives. And we have been sanctuaries to political asylum seekers escaping from repressive regimes, and those who have settled in the Philippines have settled with the Filipino people who are very accepting and who are generous to a fault, and they're able to maintain their health. And even the rich migrants from the Western countries, they migrate to the Philippines for more healthier climates, a more relaxed environment, access to affordable health care, access to leisure spots. So it goes both ways. So now to the topic at hand. I am delighted to be invited here today at the 6th National Conference on Migration Health to discuss the country's implementation of the Global Compact for Safe, Orderly, and Regular Migration, or GCM. The Philippines has come a long way in implementing the GCM since voting for its adoption in December 2018. The country actively participated in the International Migration Review Forum, or IMRF, in May 2022, as guided by our comprehensive voluntary national review to share progress in the GCM. As a GCM champion country, the Philippines continues to conduct various programs, initiatives, and engagements, noting the recommendations from the IMRF Progress Declaration to maintain and further accelerate its implementation of the GCM. Now, this slide on enhancing pathways for safe and regular migration. To enhance pathways for safe and regular migration, a number of developments have been made in the past years. The Department of Foreign Affairs launched the issuance of electronic apostille for Philippine e-certificates of civil registry documents issued by the Philippine Statistics Authority, or PSA. The DFA also supported the joint program on bridging recruitment to reintegration in migration governance, or Philippines, open and close parenthesis, bridge, convened in 2020 by the IOM, ILO, and UN women and funded by the Migration Multi-Partner Trust Fund. And the Philippines being a steadfast contributor to the budget of the IOM and a willing contributor to the leadership of the IOM. The Commission on Filipinos Overseas, or CFO, likewise launched the full implementation of the CFO Digital Certificate, which can be accessed online by clients who completed the Pre-Departure Orientation Seminar, or PDOS, or PDOS, which is a requirement of the Philippine government that its outward migrants who aim to be remunerated workers in foreign countries need to go through before they go outside. Meanwhile, as part of the government's efforts to combat trafficking in persons in the migration cycle, the Interagency Council Against Trafficking, or IACAT, in which the DFA is an active member, launched a collaborative study on Philippine backdoor exits in January 2024. The IACAT, including the Bureau of Immigration of the Philippines, further amended some laws, as well as the reorganization of offices to intensify efforts to combat trafficking, especially in those areas that are not normally looked at by security agencies. So Protection and Border Enforcement Section, or IPROBS, enhances strict enforcement of immigration and departure formalities by bolstering efforts in the screening of arriving foreigners and detection of possible victims. Next slide. This promoting meaningful contribution of migrants to development. The Philippines further continues to acknowledge the role of its diaspora as vital actors in the political, economic, social, and cultural development of countries of origin, transit, and destination. To promote their meaningful contributions to development, the Commission on Filipinos Overseas, or CFO, continues to organize the Month of Overseas Filipinos every December and the biannual Presidential Awards for Filipino individuals and organizations overseas, or PAFIOO, in which the Office of Migration Affairs is an active member, to acknowledge the contribution of overseas Filipinos to the Philippines' relief, rehabilitation, and development efforts. The CFO also has various programs for the youth, migrants, and the Filipino diaspora, both implemented here in the Philippines and across the world, primarily through our diaspora in partnership with the Philippine Foreign Service personnel and Foreign Service posts. The DFA convened in January 29, 2024, the first multi-stakeholder symposium called Filipinas Ultramar, Philippines Beyond Borders, towards a national consensus on the Philippine diaspora. Now, this is an ongoing conversation. There have been conclusions. The IOM was invited as a partner in one of the sessions. Also, Mexico, as a fellow migrant sending country, they were active there. Members of Congress, Senate were also there, and DMW, CFO, and many other agencies, both private and public, including NGO partners, such as Migrants Watch, the Blas Ople Policy Center, churches, and non-state NGOs who are interested in the migration phenomena of the Philippines. They were all invited. So this national consensus on the Philippine diaspora is being underscored and discussed in order to have a strategy shift from traditional focus of just remittances, because our overseas Filipinos are looked at as remittance senders. The Filipinas Ultramar thesis basically advances the proposition that our diaspora are force multipliers for Philippine development, and particularly for the Philippine Development Plan. And they are an extension of the Philippines Metropolitan, which is the 300,000 square kilometers of the Philippines. Outside of the Philippines, there is a Pilipinong Kamalayan na nandyan sa labas ng bansa natin, na kung saan yung mga kapwa Pilipino ay nag-uusap sa kanilang sarili, para sa sarili nila at sa kanilang sariling kamalayan at kanilang sariling komunidad para tumulong sa buong mundo. The diaspora of the Philippines can be a national or international global public good for the Philippines, for the not just for the Philippines but for the rest of the world. And this has happened in many countries in Europe, in the Americas, where the diaspora have been providing value-added services through volunteerism to their host countries, and they have gained recognition as a result. So following that initial symposium last January 29, held in Manila, the DFA initiated interagency collaborations on strengthening bilateral labor agreements for all healthcare workers in collaboration with partner agencies such as the DOH, the DMW, DOLE, PRC, and many others who are in charge of crafting a strategic national policy on outward migration, because we do not want to lose our own health workers to the rest of the world. We also have our own national health needs, and this is exemplified by the National Human Resources for Health Master Plan discussed by the DOH before Congress and discussed during this very same meeting we are having. So these BLAs for all health workers would have to be strategic, since Filipinos are to take care of their own health needs first. And in partnership with partner countries who have very good bilateral relations with the Philippines, yes, we have entered into bilateral labor agreements subject to the oversight of the Department of Foreign Affairs under Executive Order EO 459, wherein the President will authorize other agencies to conduct negotiations, discussions with other countries after the DFA reviews it and gives its imprimatur. This next slide, ensuring the health and socioeconomic needs of migrants. Building on the lessons learned from the COVID-19 pandemic, the Philippines maintains its health care services accessible to migrants. As we all know, the Department of Health leads the multi-sectoral Philippine Migrant Health Network, which DFA is part of, which has recently adopted its 2023-2028 strategic plan to improve the access of migrants and their families to quality health services across the migration cycle, as well as the National Human Resources for Health Master Plan, which I just discussed, for 2020 to 2040, which includes a chapter on migration and reintegration of Filipino healthcare workers. Our DOH colleagues further continue to regulate the operation of the medical facility for overseas workers and seafarers, or MFOWS. Developments to improve bilateral labor agreements on the recruitment of healthcare workers are likewise ongoing, including an interagency collaboration to connect returning nurses and other healthcare workers to local employment opportunities here in the Philippines, so they do not have to go abroad, and if they do go abroad, it is a choice. Overseas Filipinos can further avail of the government social services through memberships in the Philippine Health Insurance Corporation, or PhilHealth, the Social Security System, or SSS, and Overseas Workers Welfare Administration through forging bilateral security agreements for portability arrangements, among others. Efforts have been made to advance financial inclusion, financial literacy, and financial security led by the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, or BSP, together with OWA and the private sector. The DFA led the establishment of the Assistance to Nationals, or ATN program, in 1995 and continuously improved it for the next 27 years until now. It's an ongoing search and maintenance of excellence. And it continues to provide assistance to distressed Filipino nationals abroad, particularly permanent migrants, dual citizens, trainees, students, and bona fide tourists, among others, as well as OFWs in countries without MWOs. While there are now more resources available for assisting distressed Filipino migrants through the DFA and DMW, as well as OWA, the DFA shall remain as the lead Philippine agency in migration affairs, actively participating in international dialogues and platforms for migrants, migrant workers, and other migration-related programs and issues, including the upcoming meeting in Geneva of the IOM General Assembly. This next slide, strengthening international policy engagements and cooperation. Since the first IMRF in 2022, the Philippines has since partnered with governments and international organizations in organizing fora and dialogues on timely and relevant issues on migration. Forums were held to elevate the issue of wage theft. For example, one particular meeting in New York was attended by none other by Undersecretary Eduardo De Vega in 2023. co-organized by the Philippines with like-minded states and civil society organizations. The Philippines, and IOM partnered in convening the Ministerial Roundtable on Migration, Environment, and Climate Change in the Asia-Pacific region at the sidelines of the high-level week of the 78th session of the UN General Assembly in New York. The Philippines also successfully concluded the constructive dialogue with the UN Committee on Migrant Workers, or CMW, on its third periodic report on the implementation of the Convention on the Protection of the Rights of All Migrant Workers and members of the